I'm sure you've heard of the P tape.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Mhm.
So if that were to drop in October, that would be an excellent example of an October surprise.
They,
But
they,
you know,
they splash it all over the papers, right? Yeah. Hello, Podcastville, and welcome to a very special relationship. It's the show that's as Anglo-American as tea at a rodeo or fish and chips in a footlong. My name is Matt Johnston, and I am either British or have mastered the accent really effectively. And I have a show called The Interesting Times. And joining me from the Lone Star State, which I'm sure isn't a review from Texas, in the US, I beg your pardon, is the host of the Phoenix News Network, Andrea Bridger-Smith. Hello, Andrea.
hello there. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. How are things going over in the US? Has anyone been shot yet? Sorry, too soon?
No, that question is pretty much right on schedule every single time you ask it. And the answer is usually yeah, probably. The big news over here this week in the US, we won't turn our heads towards the Middle East quite yet, is the vice presidential debate, which happened on Tuesday night. And you will be surprised to know that J.D. Vance actually did very well.
Oh, well, I imagine that Trump will then accuse him of having the questions leaked beforehand.
That's usually what happens. Yes. Vance kind of traded in this attack dog persona for this Midwest nice, can't we all just get along persona, and in an America that is so used to division, some of it being violent, I gotta say this is very jarring.
Did you say he was killing you softly?
Yes, something like that. He didn't accuse anyone of eating anything that they aren't supposed to eat, and he respectfully disagreed. And you know what I think the strategy was here?
Oh, wait, there was a strategy? I mean, the Republicans must be getting desperate, right?
They've tried not having one. um, no, I think what he was doing, I think he saw that Tim Walz's approval ratings were much higher than his, and he said, you know what? I'm going to out nice this guy. And it kind of worked, honestly. Now, granted, most of what he said was a lie, but his lying was very kind of calm and respectful. And that's the kind of lying that we need in this country.
Absolutely. Lie with a smile. That's a message we can all get behind because, well, you wouldn't want to be in front of it, would you? But was it more in the way of being passive aggressive? But, in that nice way that some people kind of do, it's sort of like, yeah, like that.
Yeah, it was kind of like, we agree on certain things, but I truly believe that fascism is better. But then, he used like a polite term for fascism.
Sure.
There was a lot of that. The word agree appears a lot in the transcript if you read through it. There's a lot of like, well, I agree with you with what you just said there, and I agree, and we both agree, but here's where we differ. And it's
What are
like,
we fighting over? Yeah.
are we going to start sounding calm and rational the last 5 minutes of this campaign? That is not what America is about, God damn it.
No, no. Can't be going ballistic with any luck, of course.
Of course, of course. So, what about you? What's going on over there this week?
Well, over here, we've been having all the party conferences going on. That is what I like to call the start of silly season. That happens through from September all the way through to October. October. We've had the Lib Dems. They've been at Brighton. The Labour were at Liverpool last week, and currently going on is the Conservative Party, and I'm guessing Narnia for all the sense they've been making.
Not the seventh circle of hell. There's no justice around here anymore.
Yeah, you think, right? So the Conservatives are having, you're going to love this, another leadership election, which has
Oh,
been going on since the 5th of July and won't conclude until the 2nd of November.
oh
So
God.
120 days to pick a new leader of the party, which is about three times longer than they gave the rest of the country to pick a new government. I mean, priorities, right?
And I mean, given the past crop of contenders, produce pun very much intended, I
Yeah.
cannot wait to see who they come up with next. So tell us who's in the running so far.
Okay. So we're down to the last remaining four.
Okay.
It's a chap called Tom Tugendhat, who's probably the most normal of the people left, even though that's saying something. James Cleverly, who was Home Secretary at a function promoting the safeguarding of women on a night out, made a joke about spiking his wife's drink.
Oh, okay. That guy's a shoe-in then. My money's on him.
Yeah, look out for him, right? Kemi Badenoch, who it seems is a walking gaff machine, and the most frightening individual or candidate going in is Robert Jenrick. He's gone full Trump and has called on the UK to leave the ECHR, or the European Court of Human Rights, to scrap Tony Blair's Bill of Rights as well. And he's claiming that the European Court of Human Rights is stopping us from deporting terrorists, a claim that has been rubbished by anyone that understands anything about it. And he's claimed that the SAS, our elite fighting unit, are killing terrorists as they're worried they'll get released as a result of being in the ECHR. You probably already gathered this already, Andrea, but he's also a big fan of Trump. I mean, big surprise, right?
Yeah, huge surprise. Never would have guessed that one.
Yeah, he has rode back slightly on that. I think he's starting to realize that Trump might not win. But do you want to know which blonde weirdo, an ex-Tory PM, was at the conference and praying for a Trump win?
Let's see. I'm going to guess world's sexiest haystack, Bojo.
Oh no, Ron, actually, Ron, it was Liz Truss.
Really?
Yes,
Liz Truss.
Bizarrely, it was one of those where, and all the senior Tories were going, she's not coming, right? She's not coming. Dear God, say she's not coming. And of course she comes. And when she talks, apparently it was the most watched conference, the most interview of the entire conference. People were like queuing up around the block. I mean, it's, of course they were. It's a car crash, for goodness sake. But people want to see a car crash, don't they? Anyway, she has claimed that that the world was a lot safer when Trump was in charge.
Huh. Interesting.
I'm
Does
guessing
she
she
not
means for
remember
her.
the COVID part where a whole bunch of people died? I don't know how safe I felt during that time period. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I guessing I guess she had the TV off on January the 6th as well, maybe.
Yes,
Anyway,
exactly.
by the way, not all Tories are Trump fans. There's an individual called Robert Buckland who is supporting Kamala Harris, who did actually lose his seat in the last election. So it's not a good omen. But he was actually in the cabinet. Have a guess at what his job was.
Oh gosh, let's see. Somewhat reasonable conservative. I'm gonna guess shadow backbench oil and gas supplicant. I don't know. I'm still learning how the titles work over there in the government.
That might have been his other title, but his official title was Justice Secretary. And let's be
Ah.
honest, with a title like that, he was never going to support Trump, was he? But what makes me scratch my head about the whole thing is really why any Americans would care.
I would say because our outrage knows no bounds. I guess we've run out of things to be upset about over here, so now we're taking it global.
Oh yes, the world tour, and you know what happens when America starts to do that, right?
Yes, usually bombs start raining down from the sky. But we'll talk about the Middle East in a minute. But first, I wanted to ask you, have you ever heard of what is called the October surprise?
No, I'll be honest, that sounds like a delicious dessert. You're going to tell me it isn't.
I
You're not
wish
going
it
to go through, are
was.
you?
I wish it was. I wish I could deliver you a cupcake right now, but no, that's not what it is. So, for everyone who doesn't know, America always has its main elections in November. And the October surprise is this idea that in October, right before the election, something big happens that kind of upends the presidential campaign. So, a good example of this would be when the tape leaked of Donald Trump saying, grab him by the pussy. So, does that make sense?
Right, yeah. So, would you say that the press then already have quite a sort of selection of things that maybe they could pick and choose and then go, aha, and then chuck something out there?
Yes, there's of course rumors of, I'm sure you've heard of the P tape.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Mhm.
So if that were to drop in October, that would be an excellent example of an October surprise.
They,
But,
they
you know,
they splash it all over the papers, right? Yeah.
oh, that was delightful and
Oh,
icky
yeah.
all at the same time. Well played, Matt. So we kind of have three October surprises happening right now. So the first one is there is a dock worker strike at most of our major ports on the eastern and southern seaboards, which means we might see fewer items on shelves and higher prices, which could cost the U.S. economy $5 billion a day by some estimates.
Wow.
So the economy right now is the biggest issue in our election. So you can see how that might be a little bit problematic. We've already got people out there who are panic buying all of the toilet paper. And I'm curious, do Brits do this? Do they,
Yes.
anytime there's a crisis, do
Yes.
you just head straight to the toilet paper aisle and grab as much as you can carry? Is that a thing over there?
Not only that, they then effectively try and resell them for three times the cost. Absolutely outrageous. They've
Cottage
actually had to
industry.
well, during COVID, when some of the shops weren't allowed to open, they actually had to have this thing whereby they would uh, tell people to only have a certain amount. They could only buy a certain, purchase a certain amount of toilet rolls. And you're like,
Right,
of
right.
course, you don't need 20 toilet rolls. We're not going to be on lockdown for the next 5 years. Get a grip.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I'm pleased to hear that that is a transcontinental impulse that we both share. It's just, oh no, there's a crisis. How will I wipe my ass? It's a very pertinent question. So we have that going on. And then the second October surprise, and this one is extra spicy, is that one of Trump's cases has reared its beautiful, majestic head again. So all of his various and sundry legal cases were all sort of put on pause for a bit because of this Supreme Court ruling saying that presidents are immune from prosecution for anything they did in office as long as it was in their capacity of their role as president. So if there are things that they weren't doing as part of their official presidential duties, then those you can prosecute, but any official stuff you can't. And so that gummed up the works for a while. So they took the case back, redid it, took some stuff out, and then they resubmitted it. And there is a shocking new detail in that filing that just came out.
Oh, oh well, please share.
So basically, on January 6th, one of Trump's aides came rushing in there. So he was watching all the chaos unfold on TV, you know. And so somebody, comes in there and says, hey, they're taking protective measures for Mike Pence. Like basically, they're moving him to like a secret bunker or something like that. And Trump's response was, so what? His vice
I
president.
mean,
They're having to
yeah,
move his vice president to a secure location because Donald Trump has incited a riot, and he's like, who cares? I don't care about
yeah.
that guy.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So that one was pretty shocking. And then the third October surprise, and Matt, let's see if we can try to lighten the mood here a little bit. I'd like to talk about the Middle East.
Well, rather you than me.
Obviously, what's going on over there is an issue for diplomatic reasons and for oil price reasons, and Americans care deeply about that second one. Now, I feel like for a very long time now that both of our countries and others have been like, guys, settle down, calm down. No, 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 don't do that. Everybody just chill. And that approach, it doesn't seem to be working. So I'm wondering, do you think we should try reverse psychology next?
Right. Like you mean, hey Iran, did you know Israel called you a bitch? What, you're just going to take it? Come on. What are you going to do about it?
I hadn't thought about middle school psychology. That's a great option, actually. I was thinking we could also try triple reverse psychology, where neither side knows what is going on at all anymore.
Right.
Upside down psychology or reverse cowgirl psychology. What do you think?
Oh, oh, yeah. Probably not any of those, if I'm being honest. I mean, bearing in mind how tough it is to blow someone up if you don't have bombs, maybe stopping army in Israel, I would have thought helped. I mean, obviously the
Huh.
UK continues to do so, but I can't think of any other country that hands over explosive like it's the 4th of July. Oops, ooh, bit of a Freudian or plutonium slip there. Sorry.
Matt, Are you trying to imply that the United States hands out explosives like candy on Halloween? I mean, I never. But yes, we definitely do that. And some people are saying that we shouldn't. And those people should not open up any Halloween candy from us.
Indeed, indeed. I have to say, in all seriousness, though, the Middle East is obviously is a complex area and has been for millennia. We, when I say we, the British and indeed a lot of the other European countries, when we were carving up the Middle East and putting certain sections with other sections, and then
Yeah.
moving the Israelis and giving them a whole sort of area and stuff like that. Um, you know, sorry, this is me talking about Ireland again, all again, is I'm going to mess up a whole load of stuff. But basically, as I say, it is complex. So putting your support 100% like Starmer, and I'm assuming Biden has done, especially behind a warmonger like Netanyahu, is not, I don't think it's a good idea. We should be
Right.
doing all we can to negotiate peace, but that can only start when Palestine gets an independent state that has the same UN protections and freedoms and rights that any other state or sovereign nation has.
I
That's my
completely
honest.
agree with you. Yes. And I think that we can all agree that that millennia's worth of bloodshed hasn't done anyone very much good, and that maybe constantly turning fully constructed things into piles of rubble isn't very, constructive.
Not at all. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, you said let's let's lighten things up a little bit, and I seem to have done the opposite. Do you want to
The
finish on
Middle
a
East
light
is good
note?
for that. Yeah, the Middle East, it's things usually aren't going well over there. I wish that we could get to a point where we could say, you know, what's going really well right now? The Middle East. Like, imagine a world where that's something that we would say. It would be really nice.
Yeah, yeah. We can all hope, each day that passes, we can all hope that tomorrow, mañana, mañana, as they say, it's that hopefully we will see a brighter dawn, and that I genuinely believe that if Netanyahu, much like Putin, is, I say taken out of the picture, I don't mean in a way that he's shot or kind of, but basically
Sure.
moved from power, then
Yes.
I think peace will become that little bit more easier, provided they don't replace him with somebody even worse. There we go.
That's always the danger, isn't it? It's like
Yes.
once we get rid of this guy, then who's right behind him? As we can see with, Trump and JD Vance are a good example of that.
That's
So
true.
you're trading in impulsive crazy for logical, well-reasoned crazy, and I don't really know which scares me more at this point.
By the way, what's Trump's opinion on the Middle East and what's going on over there? Or does he have one?
I think he's basically like, I will give Israel as many weapons as they care to buy from us, with no checks, no balances, no special conditions, no nothing, just here you go. Which, as you can see, is very different from Biden's approach of mostly doing that exact same thing. So, yes, America has a stark choice in this election between Israel getting a lot of weapons or Israel getting a lot of weapons, but
Wow.
also a finger wag with the weapons. That's basically the difference between them two at this point.
By the way, things aren't a lot better over here. I'll give you a clue. Not only Starmer sort of standing up, saying we stand shoulder to shoulder with Israel, and you're sitting there thinking
Hmm.
that's not a good place to be,
Right.
about what's about to happen to Israel. Um, but it's also the leadership contest. Robert Jenrick has said that he wants to see a Star of David at every single port in the UK. Kemi Badenoch has said that I've got to make sure I get this right. Something like anybody that doesn't get fully 100% behind back in Israel should be deported. It's
Mm.
just gone lunacy over there. It's just like, how is this the starting point for negotiation? Do
Yeah.
you understand how negotiations work, for instance? But there we go.
Yeah. I mean, let me be very careful to say that
Mm,
uh, October 7th was awful.
of
Israel
course.
had a right to defend itself.
Yes.
And but I think that there is so much more that could have been done to get those hostages back.
Mm,
And I think just reducing an entire population to bits uh, did not, it was certainly not a proportional response.
No, no.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
on a lighter note,
Yes, please.
before we wrap up, there was one more interesting little tidbit that I thought we might discuss. This is
Is this another October
another.
surprise?
Well, it could be. It could be. So Melania Trump has put out a new book, and there's been some interesting things in there, like her defending her nude modeling, which sure, baby girl, get after it. But the other thing that just came out was that in her book, she said that she fully supports abortion rights. She thinks that women should be able to decide what they want to do with their own bodies, and that, as you may have noted, is a little bit of a departure from what the Trump campaign has been saying on the subject. So uh,
That
I'm
treacherous
curious.
communist.
Yes, yes. Welcome to the resistance, Melania. I don't know.
Do you think, though, this is because obviously the rumors about Trump and Melania have been going on for ages, and there's so many photos, obviously that point where she didn't hold his hand, that point, there's so many photos where she's just got this scowl and just this,
hmm
where and he's, I'm guessing, oblivious to it, because that's his go-to space, isn't it? Really, it's just being oblivious to stuff like that's it. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, she looks more and more fed up with it. Do you think she's really at a point where she's just going to go, "I'm done. I'm out there."
I don't know that she can and still keep her lifestyle the way that she wants it.
Right.
I think if he wins again, though, we will not see her for 4 years. She will not be at the White House. She will disappear off the face of the earth for the next 4 years. You will
Hmm.
not see her. That's kind of what's been happening the past few years, but I do not think that she enjoyed being first lady. I don't think she has any desire to do it over again. I don't think she likes any attention on herself, which seems to be a little contradictory since she's put out this book and is going on a book tour. But I think she's, generally likes to not draw any attention to herself. And being first lady is a terrible way to accomplish that goal.
Yes, yes, I can only imagine. It's also it's one of those jobs that, and obviously the point will be if Kamala Harris is elected, it will be the first. What would you call it?
Gentlemen, first
Gentleman, right?
gentleman.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
first gentleman. Um, but it's something that you know it's all about the drive that this person. It's the same with any job, I suppose. You take on that role, then
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, by definition, will sort of take on a role. They follow on behind you, as it were. This is rather interesting. There are rumors and rumors and rumors and talks about super injunction. There's no super injunction, but there's all these rumors about Keir Starmer, about the fact that he may have two other children.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know how much of this we can include in the podcast because if there is a super injunction, then mind you, if there's a super injunction, I don't know anything about it. So uh,
well, we'll say the word allegedly a lot. That's usually how
allegedly,
we get out of trouble. Allegedly, he allegedly. So
yes,
this is interesting. So do all prime ministers just have extra children scattered about because they're
I guess,
con-
I
is
guess.
that just how it works now?
Yeah, and I don't know where this rumor started, but there was another rumor. Sometimes these rumor it's genuine. Sometimes it's a load of old, pun intended, hogwash. Because there was a rumor about David Cameron, with
Ah,
the pig head,
yes.
a
Uh-huh.
load of old cobblers, completely made up. But it didn't
Right.
matter because once the rumor's out there, everybody's like, aha. John Oliver talks about so many rumors about people like Richard. Oh, the guy that was in Officer and a Gentleman, Richard Gere,
Uh-huh. Yes, with the
and
hamster.
the hamster.
Right.
But he's like, again, completely made up. He's like, how would that even happen? What would you need? What you just sit and think about it for a moment, and you're like, yeah, actually. But we take it as read that it's that it's definitely sort of true. So I don't know how much this Keir Starmer thing is actually true, or whether it's a rumor just started from somewhere, and then away we go. But yes, he wouldn't be the first. Um, I think Theresa May, interestingly, I think was the last one who didn't have any children whatsoever. Well, none that she knows of. Um, women never say that, do they? Women never say that.
I actually
Um,
say that quite often. When people say, "How many kids do you have?" I say, two that I know of. And it always gets a laugh.
um, but yeah, all rather interesting. And I kind of get it as well. We're in your halls of power and you're working long days and stuff like that. I guess that you get a bit close with people that, you know, the Lewinsky effect, shall we call it?
Yes, yes. I think that's a good name for it. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that. See if any
Mm.
other small children emerge from behind Keir Starmer. Hopefully, they're well fed, given his nickname. All right, everyone, that is all that we have time for today, but we are going to be back next week with less than a month to go till the US election. So if I seem terrified then, it's because I am. For more fun with UK politics, please visit Matt's channel at The Interesting Times UK, and we will be back next Friday with a brand new episode of the Phoenix News Report. Till then, bye bye.
Bye bye.